Hey there, it is, let's see, Monday afternoon, and you were probably seeing this on Tuesday morning, May 3rd. So, what we're doing here is our Athens area market update where we talk about the numbers specific to the Athens, Clark County, and Oconee County market versus other markets around us like Jackson County. And of course, what we do later in the month is our national market update. So, as you know, we've seen interest rates tick up a lot, and we are still seeing low supply. And I'm not going to lie, the numbers are a little, some of them are frustrating for what I'm about to show you. But one of the questions we're going to try to address for you is, are higher interest rates finally slowing the market, and will home prices start to go down? So let's take a look and dive into the numbers like we do every month. And starting here, I'll get my head a little bit out of the way. Now, this is for Athens, Clark, and Oconee County starting January 1st through April 30th. So effectively year to date, even though we're a couple days into May. Now, you can sit here and look. There's 2020 and 897 listings. That at that point, that was getting into the COVID lockdowns. And last year, when we had such a resurgent real estate market, we saw 940 new listings, a very strong market. Under contracts were up at 554. As we know, prices were up. I mean, another large percentage gain in 2021 over 2020. And then the total homes sold was almost 100 homes above the month before. So let's take a look here and see what's happening this year. This is where the news starts to get a little bad, and it's something we've been talking about a lot, is that there's not going to be as much chicken at the barbecue. And what I mean is there's going to be less transactions, not a market correction. So if we look here at the total new listings, this is year to date, we are 20% down, 756 listings to market in 2022 versus 940 last year, 19.6%. So there's a little bit of a ghost in the machine here. There are things that are selling off market and that aren't being reflected, because this is from the MLS. This is the Athens area MLS and not the Georgia MLS, or combining the two of them where we would get duplicates. So the actual numbers are a little higher than that, but they're not 200 higher. They're still pretty close to 20% down. Now, as we look at the under contracts, they're down 27%, 401 year to date to 554. Guess what's up? The price. $405,000 is the average sold price year to date, Clark and Oconee County combined, representing a 20% gain in equity. And then this is the total home sold. This is what I was referring to as less chicken at the barbecue. And I'm going to get to this later, how that impacts you, is 561 home sales to 719 in 2021. And look here, this is even in the pandemic getting started. We did better in 2020 than we had this year. So even in the beginning of lockdowns, it was still better than it was this past April. And that's where I'm going now. Let's take a look at the month of April very specifically. 2020, you remember the new listings went way down because we had lockdowns in April of 2020. We had new listings to market last year of 303. And then the under contracts last year, 178. Average home sale, 341. Total home sold, 240,000. Excuse me, 240 total home sold. What happened in 2022? Again, this is sort of that, if you work in real estate, you kind of grasp a little bit and get some heartburn. We are down almost 35% on new listings in the month of April. April's traditionally the market where most homes come to sell. And right now we are 35% down from there and just slightly above where we were in lockdowns. So we started to lock down the world in April of 2020, and we had almost the same amount of listings as we did in April 2022. The under contracts are down 39%, 178 to 107. What's up? Of course, the price is 415 from 341, and the total homes sold, again, almost down 34%, 159 home sales, April 30th for the month of April. Let's look at a few other things. We have a colleague, Charlie Fleming, we'll give you a shout out there at Oconee State Bank, that asked a question about the percentages of methods of purchase. We have the ability to look at that, at least through our Athens MLS. So I thought we'd provide that information because it is pertinent. What we want to see here is we're talking about conventional loans, VA loans, FHA, USDA, maybe owner financing, and then a cash purchase. 2020, you can see the numbers were around 62% to 58, 13% to 9%. So basically the VA and FHA loans are going down. Conventional loans are holding their share, and the cash was going up. Let's see what's going on right now in 2022. This is year to date. Conventional loans are still getting their majority share of right below 60%, representing almost a 1% change. But what we are seeing going down is VA, FHA, USDA loans in our area are going way down to below 4% of the market. And then cash purchases continue to tick up. Now, if you broke out just Clark County, the cash purchases would be a lot more because we're seeing a lot more investment property. We're seeing condos. some of the lower home sales that are sold with cash. Housing market activity overall. This is just a quick graph I'm going to go through. We've seen the numbers. You can see that in 2022, the amount of new listings in red is below each of the following years. The under contract in the middle is even further below, and the dark gray representing sold is also below previous years. And if we come here to look at the listing under contract just for the month of April, we can see in the middle of 2021, there was much more activity as I just went over. If we go to the left here, lockdowns of 2020 from the month of April look a lot similar to April 2022, except we're not in lockdowns and pandemic's in a very different phase. So we're seeing that little activity just because of tightness in the market, not because of other issues, but the tightness that we've seen. Now, there is something else I'd like to go over here. And this just shows you the line graph that we shared a little bit of last week. I waited to see how it all vetted out. The blue line represents 2020. The green line represents 2021. And of course, the red line is 2022. If you can see the green line last year, we had 303 new listings in 2021. In the pandemic, we were down to 186. And right now in April, we are down to 199. Now that's listings by month. So this is what the graphs did. You can see we started low, we started to surge up in March, and then we fell off in April, which is just what I'm going over here, is how drastically behind April is of traditional years past. One thing I do want to kind of brag about here, and I'm not the biggest bragger, but I do like to brag on the company when we can. When I looked at how few total solds there were in Clark and Oconee County, I know what's going on in our company. So I went back and I figured how many sales were 5 market agents involved in. When I did the math, we represented and were involved in almost 14% of the total home sales in Clark and Oconee County. Now, for certain companies, that may not be a very big number, but we are not a large company. We are not meant to be 100 agents. That's not how we operate. And for us to control almost 14% of the total sales in the month of April is something we're proud of. What that means is we haven't had a bunch of listings. We're way down on listings, as I just went over, almost 200. So if we're getting in our company this same percentage of the market share, what does that tell you? Well, it tells you that the people in this picture are working very hard for their buyers. What they're doing is getting out and helping their clients win contracts and selling things off market when they have to. We have some closings this week that did not hit the MLS because we had to go find it for people. So if you need someone that can help you, if you're trying to find something or trying to sell, people in this picture, our small group, have tons of agents that are ready to help you. Reach out at info@5mrealty.com, and we'll keep you posted a little bit more on the predictions when we do our national housing market update, because what we are going to see is less activity. And I do think that will start to slow our home appreciation, and it will cool off this market with the interest rates. We're going to dive into that a little bit more on the next one. Have a great week. If you need anything, reach out to anybody here at 5mrealty.com or contact info@5mrealty.com. Thank you.